All right, welcome to another episode of Keep It or Sell It. And today I'll be working with the Hughes Kettner Triamp MK. Let's get started. All right, so this is a series where I go through my amp collection and decide if I'm going to keep an amp or sell it. I'm trying to thin the herd and only have the best of the best, at least the best of the best that works for me, on my shelves behind me. Now, I bought this amp some time ago, probably over a year ago, and I only played it a little bit, and I honestly don't even remember what this thing sounds or feels like when I play through it. I really don't. I remember not liking it very much, but let's revisit it. Maybe my tastes have changed and maybe I'll end up putting it on the shelf. So we'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a clean channel without any effects, dial it in, and then dress it up with some effects after that. And I'm going to go through all, I guess, 6 channels or whatever on this amplifier. Yeah, there's 6 channels, 3 amps, 2 channels per amp inside here. And it has EL34s and 6L6s. I'm just going to blend the tubes and turn them all on at once and just keep it that way because why not, you know? And when I get to the channels that have any amount of gain, whether it's low, medium, or high gain, I will be using my Mud Killer as a boost pedal in front of the amplifier. I boost every amplifier anyways, so I might as well just dial it in with the boost pedal engaged, and it keeps the video shorter. I'm trying to do shorter videos for you guys. So let's get started on channel 1 right now, which is, I think, the clean channel, and just see what we got. Let's switch to the camera. That's on the amp. Sorry about the glare, but that's just the way it is. All right, so let's get started. It's actually a pretty good clean channel. It's very full, lots of great fullness and low end, and it's really warm. It's chimey as well. It's got a nice chime to it. So let's go ahead and dress it up now. So I'm going to turn on my Julia chorus and my TC Electronic Flashback 2 delay pedal, and let's see what we got. Actually, pretty damn good clean channel. Very nice. It's not the most musical clean channel that I have. I mean, the Diesel Herbert clean channel is like really hard to compete with, but it does sound really good, you know. I'd put it, I don't know, about a 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5, you know, maybe even an 8. It's very good, very good. All right, so now let's move on to channel, what is this, 1B. All right, so let's go to that one and see what we got. I don't even know what's going to happen here, but let's figure it out. All right, so that's kind of a mild crunch channel. Now there is a built-in boost. Let me see how that sounds when I stack it with my external boost now. Okay, so if you're a classic rock guy, like classic rock, like 60s, 70s, this might work for you. The built-in stomp boost actually does add a little more, you know, a little more balls to it, especially when you stack it with an external boost like I did here. Let's just see what the internal boost sounds like without my mud killer. Let's just, for giggles, let's see what we got. All right, so that's pretty subtle on this channel because there's not a lot of gain, so a boost isn't really going to do too much, but it does enhance it a little bit. But yeah, this channel, yeah, it's not going to work for me at all. I just don't play low gain stuff, you know. So let's switch to channel 2A now and see what we got. I'm going to keep my external boost pedal on and the internal boost is off. So let's see what we got. Now that channel's kind of interesting. It's very unique. It's a lot stiffer, more attack, and it's not so flubby. And when you stack the internal boost with the overdrive, you know, like an external overdrive, it actually gets a lot more aggressive. Not a ton, but you know, it actually it's pretty cool. I can see why a lot of guys would like this channel, especially if you're playing, you know, the maybe late 70s, early 80s kind of classic rock, not metal, but classic rock type stuff. This might not be bad. Let me just do some classic rock riffs on it. I mean, I don't know a ton of them, but I'll see what I got here. Okay, so it does have a lot of attack. It's not as much gain as I would like, but I think it fits in with a little of the early 80s rock, you know, pop rock. I don't know, not metal, but pop rock kind of stuff, you know. I mean, honestly, Eddie Van Halen did not use a lot of gain, especially on the 1984 album. I mean, if you solo those tracks out, I mean, its amp is almost clean. It's crazy how clean it was. And this, in my opinion, I know he played Marshalls, but I mean, this is kind of reminiscent of that, at least with the gain structure. You know, it's not a lot of gain. There's just enough there. It's pretty tight and responsive. It's very percussive. Not enough saturation for me, but it's pretty cool. And I have the gain cranked on it. So yeah, if you stack the internal boost with an overdrive pedal on the outside of the amplifier, not bad for that kind of genre. All right, so let's move on to channel 2B and see what we got. All right, so that got a lot more aggressive and a lot angrier. I mean, even the voicing is quite a bit angrier on this channel. It still doesn't have a ton of saturation. I know it sounds like it does because it sounds so angry, and that's mostly the voicing. I'm not feeling a ton more saturation, although there is more. Not bad, though. I actually think this is pretty cool. So you know what I'm going to do? Let me turn off the mud killer. Let's see what the internal boost sounds like on this particular channel. All right, so now let's see what it sounds like when I stack them. So I'm going to keep the internal boost on and reach down and turn on my mud killer and see what happens. Okay, so that's a little more in the George Lynch territory, in my opinion. I know he didn't play Hughes and Kettner's, at least I don't think he did, I don't know. But I think that if George was picking between, 2A and 2B, he'd probably go for 2B. It's still got that, it's kind of a lot of low end as far as the resonance is concerned, but it's not the fullest kind of low end. It's a little bit... I hate to say the word thin because it sounds derogatory, but I don't mean it in a derogatory way. It's just very articulate, lots of really low resonance, but not a ton of bass, if that makes sense. Where's the bass at? Yeah, bass is up pretty high on this too, and unlike other channels, I need more bass on this one. So let me see if I crank the bass. Let me just see what happens. Let me monkey around with this a little bit more. So I'm going to keep the overdrive, the built-in boost off, and my external pedal on now. Okay, so that was better. It filled it up a little bit better, and I actually backed down the fat skinny knob on my mud killer. I had it a little bit on the skinny side, and I put it right back to dead nut center, and it seems like it filled it up a little bit more with that. So yeah, not bad. I think if you're doing the early 80s thing, this would be the preferred channel between you know, channel 2A and 2B. This one definitely has a little more grind to it, a little more rage. Still not a ton of saturation, but there's kind of something, I don't know, a little bit special going on between these two channels on channel 2B that's just more angry, especially when you play them side to side. You know, you really notice the difference. So now let's move on to channel, what is this, 3A, and see what we got. I just realized I didn't have all of the tubes on, so I do now, and I'm not going to redo this video just to do that. No freaking way. So yeah, I'll keep them all on now. So you have all the 6L6s and the EL34s on, and I didn't hear a huge difference when I engaged the last set of tubes, but whatever. Yeah, this channel definitely has a fuller, meaner, more compressed and aggressive sound, definitely more saturation. It's less open. Now you definitely notice a difference in compression between channel 2B and channel 3A. Channel 2B is much more open, and maybe that's where that different kind of aggression's coming from, and channel 3A is a lot more compressed. Let me switch between them now for you so you can hear the difference. Yes, definitely more compression in channel 3A. I prefer channel 3A, but there's some pretty cool stuff going on in channel 2B. Try to keep all these channels straight here. Let's do some little more dialing in on channel 3A. I'll engage the internal boost just for giggles. Mud killer is off. Let's engage the internal boost and see what we got. Now let's stack the internal boost with the mud killer. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, the thing is the internal boost isn't like your normal boost pedal. It just gives you a little more something. You know, it's just a little more gas, but it's not so much that you need to turn your external boost pedal off. It doesn't really replace it. It just enhances the channel a little bit, you know, just a touch. So you can stack it and get away with that, no problem. You might want to back the gain down. Let me find a sweet spot with it now. Yeah, so when I backed the gain down, it cleaned it up a little bit and it turned it into a pretty good rhythm channel. A lot of great articulation and note separation there. So yeah, the gain's at halfway now, and I have this stomp boost on and my mud killer. So let's mess around with it a little bit more. Wow, not bad. So I got the gain at about 2 o'clock, and the stomp boost and the mud killer. My beard keeps rubbing on my mic. Oh well. I have the stomp boost and the mud killer combined, and yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. And I think with the stomp boost, you know, you can engage it for, you know, because this is MIDI controlled, you can engage it for lead. So if you have just your regular overdrive on the outside of the amplifier and you just want a little more juice for a lead, you just engage the stomp boost via MIDI, and that would actually be pretty cool. It'd fill it up a little bit, you know. So that's actually kind of nice, not too shabby. Now let's move on to channel 4, and then I'll switch through the tubes for you maybe at the end of the video just to see if there's any big difference with the tubes. I know the volume drops depending on what ones you pick, so be ready for that. But I'm going to switch from channel 3 to channel 4 now. Let's turn the stomp boost off and keep my mud killer on. All right, so channel 3B is a little rounder, definitely has more low end. That's why the bass is quite a bit lower. I mean, I got the bass at like 9 o'clock as opposed to 3A, which is at almost noon. So you definitely have more low end and a little bit of a rounder sound on channel 3B. Let's mess around with the controls a little bit more. I want to see if I can get 3B to sound a little sharper, you know, give it a little more bite. Okay, I just adjusted the presence up and the treble up a little bit, and then I turned the tone knob up to about almost 3 o'clock on my mud killer, and that gave it a little more attack. So it still remains very full, and you know, but it's got this nice aggressive attack on the top end. So, you know, on this particular amp, definitely the channels I would use are 1A for my cleans, and I would use channels 3A and 3B for my high gain stuff. And I would probably skip over 2A and 2B, even though there's some pretty cool stuff going on there. And like I said, I get why people would like those channels. You know, a lot of flexibility with this amplifier. You know, with those two channels, you can do different eras. Like if you're in a tribute band that covers a lot of different genres of music and a lot of eras of music, this would be your MacGyver knife amplifier right here. This thing would cover everything almost, you know, and it would do a really good job at it. I'm more of a one-trick pony. I'm a metal guy. I do prog metal, 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 metal. That's pretty much me. So I go for the high gain stuff. I just want the nastiest, filthiest, scariest stuff for my high gain stuff, and then I want the most glorious cleans for my clean stuff, you know. So that's pretty much what I want. All right, so now let's switch between the tubes. I don't know what tubes go. I think the, what is this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are, I believe, the 6L6s, and then 5 and 6 I think are the EL34s. So let's just go through them and see if there's any major difference in sound. Sorry about the volume drops, but that's just the nature of switching tubes. Okay, so yes, there are some volume differences, but maybe it's a placebo thing, I don't know, but with the 6L6s, it had a rounder, bigger sound, and with the EL34s, it had that little bit of a mid-spike in it, and it sounded a little more focused. So, I don't know, you tell me what you think, but, and just so you know, if you want to rewind it and watch it back, 5 and 6 are the EL34s, if memory serves. Either way, when I just had those on, it had a bit of a mid-spike to it, and it was just a little sharper and a little more focused. It wasn't super obvious, but, you know, it was noticeable anyways. Yeah, this amplifier is actually, it's better than I remembered it. I remember when I tried it out, I was kind of like, I don't know, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to shoot it out with some of my favorites, like the Red 7. That is a money amp. It's just so freaking good. I love that amplifier. So if it doesn't stack up to that, or my Splon Nitro, or my, you know, my Ingalls Savage, or, you know, the EVH Stealth, I mean, then I'm probably going to give it the boot. But for now, it's actually, it's intriguing me a little bit. So I'm a little undecided, but I'd say that I'm 60-40, 60% thinking that I'm going to most likely sell it. But we'll see. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think of the amplifier. Just give me your thoughts in the comments below. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. To all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you so much. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with another episode. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.